Okay, so here we are with another one of my sort of check-ins on how the training is going. We are just halfway through week 9, which is the first week in a new training phase. I just finished off last week the second 4-week phase of hypertrophy, which was mostly about volume and making sure I was getting a lot of calories in. I was able to get, I did my stat check-in, and the weight was up to about 165, which is just under 10 pounds since, when did I last do the check-in? Would have been, I think it was around October. So that's good. I mean, it's on track. I mean, the body fat's gone up as well. I do measure it using the bioimpedance scales, but those are pretty suspect at the best of times. In the past, I would have said that you can use it at least as a comparison to itself, but I don't even know how accurate they are in that capacity either. So I do the track that, and because it's another metric, but looking at the girths, my waist circumference, chest circumference, I have put on some muscle, but I've put on some body fat too. That's okay. I mean, I'm not as lean as I'm used to being, which is sort of the to be expected. My training is not geared at that. In fact, it's geared at the opposite. So I'm not terribly concerned about that. I'll do a couple more months of now strength, sort of true strength training, where volume is down, intensity's up, meaning I'm only going to do each muscle group, sort of one time in terms of strength. I do have it's not like that's the only time that they're going to be worked, because, for example, with the legs, I'm still riding up to 4 times a week and running once a week, playing hockey. So, what I mean is I'm only going to do a focused strength set on them once a week, but go for the higher weight. I'm going to do that for 4 weeks, work in a rep range of about 6 to 8, 5 to 8, 6 to 8, and for 4 or 5 sets. And then I'll go into sort of a max strength phase where the reps are lower, 3 to 5. The weights are closer to my training max, and still the same sort of training schedule. Still keeping the calories high, so I will probably still continue to put on some size, and then I'll phase into a power and then power endurance micro phases. And there I will start cutting the calories, try to maintain the power and strength that I've developed. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but Sash just came home. Try to maintain the power and strength that I've built up, but then start to lean out so that I've got that higher sort of strength, force to rate of force development, more strength applied to less weight, which should make me more powerful. I also said I was going to talk about the Peloton, because I was using those. I mentioned it a few times on the sort of the daily or every couple of days updates that I put on my Facebook, Instagram account, and there you can see a little bit more detail on the specifics of the workouts versus the overall summary. But I started using the Peloton app on the bike, and I've recently upgraded my bike setup to reflect that. And okay, guys, so this is the setup I've got for my my home spin Peloton sort of workout. So first off, what I did is I used to have a one of the fluid spinners, and I replaced it with this
type because the fluid spinner did not have an ability to adjust resistance. So this now gives me 6 more levels of resistance. Over here on my little table, I've got, that is the iPad mini, the old one that I use with an adjusted heart rate reader. I tried to set the heart rate on that to sort of match the power zone somewhat. It's not perfect. It's far from an exact science, but it works well for what I'm doing. My stand for my phone, where I've got the Peloton session running. Don't attach it to, I don't just run my app through the Apple TV, because our Apple TV is first gen and doesn't seem to love to work downstairs here. Got a big fan set up because I sweat like a beast when I'm doing these spins. And lastly, I even have the sweat catcher in between for that reason. Actually, not lastly. I also have this where I put my my trusty heart rate monitor, and here I've got a cadence sensor to give me a sense about my RPMs. And
so, yeah. And, you know, that setup aside, I really like the structure. And if you know what you're looking for, or you're told what you should be doing, then you can hit a very well-rounded training program. And it's nice because it's coached. So there is somebody coached. I do all the recording. I don't do live ones. So when I say they're coached, it just means that there is a coach who's actually speaking. I'm sticking with the ones that are actually doing training versus doing the, you know, bicep curls or just HIIT training for the sake of working out. I try to find training sessions that are specific to what I need, which right now is just training volume. So mostly what they call power zones, but not up to the power zone max. I will start to incorporate those in once a week because I need that for the mountain biking. Those are sort of the top end sort of efforts, but they're also shorter sessions. So I just have to figure out where they fit in to the training week. Now I tried the Peloton bike itself, which is a fancy spin bike. Sorry, I don't want to wrestle any jimmies with that one, but that's all it is. And I don't really, I didn't particularly like it. I mean, I was wearing my brother-in-law's shoes, which are too big for me. That's not really, that's not one of the things I didn't like, because I know that would be different if I were to get an actual one. But I didn't like having the resistance controlled for me. I didn't like that the resistance was done through the screw knob. I prefer to be able to work through my gearing myself. So there's that. But the Peloton app, when you know who you're looking for and you pick the right sessions, they're great. Hey, so I'm just recording my log, so I don't know if your voice is going to be picked up, but just a heads up.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Just so you know. So the Peloton bike, the training program. I know. My shoulder, as I've mentioned before, my shoulder's a little bit funny. I hurt it back last fall. It actually felt almost back to normal a couple of weeks ago, and I feel like it's had a slight regression, nothing significant, but just enough that I think I have to refocus on getting that worked on, and I'm gonna go back and work out it myself with the rolling and so on and so forth. I have been maintaining the prehab exercises, but I think it's time to get back in and see one of the fine physios and just sort of update. I mean, it's possible I'm gonna need an x-ray or ultrasound to find out if there's something structurally going on. It doesn't feel bad, it's not quite where it was before I heard it. And so if I'm gonna start swimming, which I will as the pool sort of regulations it relax, and also because Sash has floated the idea of a cross-country, like an off-road triathlon in September, I'm gonna have to start swimming again. I'll talk more about that in one of the later blogs if I decide to do it. So that's all. Like I said, if you want to hear more about the details, you can follow my Facebook or Instagram accounts. I get a little bit more detailed in the description of what I'm doing on the training day or in the training week. These are just sort of overall summaries, but hope your training is going well, and yeah, we'll talk to you soon.